Hey, what's good, everybody? Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all having a great 2024 so far. I just wanted to make this video real quick about. I don't think I'm gonna make this a podcast episode, but because I'm gonna show some stuff. So, my most of my podcast episodes, I've been posting them on Spotify now, Apple, Amazon Music, all that stuff. So they won't really be able to see what I'm gonna show if I post it on there. So I might just make this one a video for here. So as you guys know, I wrote this book. It hasn't been a year yet, right? It's gonna be a year, I believe, in the end of March or so, maybe the beginning of it. I think it's the end of March, right? That I wrote the book, so it's gonna hit the year. And in the book, I talk about how, similar to NDEs, I was shown this code, right, of like the almost like the pre-planning for my life, right? But um also everything, right? This thing has appeared to me like the group that inspired me to make music. My first song that I really kind of put out was tied into this, you know, all these events from my life, right? Even past lives after, right? It showed me before, a couple years before the pandemic hit, right? Like literally, like boom. And then even after, when mandates were starting to be put out and all this stuff. So this code kept appearing like a warning, right? Almost like this was the warning, whether I put it before I came here, right? And then, so now I'm aware of it, right? Now I'm aware of it. It's always, on the book, if you guys don't remember the 216 book that I wrote, right? You know, it shows there, right? I like it was funny because even right, I did the first edition, then right after I started being shown more things. I wrote a second edition, then more things started coming out, so I even did the audio book, right, that I added like an extra 20 minutes at the end. But like, it never, and it's like a daily thing. Like sometimes if I'm going somewhere, and sometimes I'm like, oh man, like I don't know why, something will happen that makes me like, maybe I should have just stayed home. And then all of a sudden there's a car in front of me with 216, and I'm like, okay, fine, like instantly I snap out of it. But anyways, so I was gifted this, right, this beautiful painting, right? A friend gifted me this. And when they handed it to me, I think they handed it to me, backwards. And right away, I saw the 216, right? And that was actually before the book even came out, right? 21623. So I was like, right away, too, when they handed it to me, I was like, you're messing with me, right? Like, obviously, I didn't say that. I said a bad word, but I was like, you're messing with me, right? And they were like, well, what do you mean? I was like, dude, hello. And, and then, you know, I was like, I wrote the whole book, and they're like, oh, I didn't, whatever, like some people don't pay attention. So I was like, all right, I believe you then. But I was like, because I mean, everything else, right? It's like there's been over, like, I don't know, honestly, without exaggerating, there's been hundreds of things shown to me now because of that, right? But it's definitely shown, like, it just gets weird, right? Because I know the NDE, like how, they'll call it the pre-planning and this and that, but it just gets weird sometimes to the extent of like, if it really all is all the Matrix. And even in the book, I talk about how even the movie The Matrix is literally 216 minutes long, right? So that's kind of the code, like nonstop, right? But also that, like the big events, like the pandemic, different things, the way I was shown. So the way I was shown was very specific to me. So I know that I was being shown this, I was being warned of this. So, but it also, like, I guess humanity in a way, it gets complicated, right? I get it though. To me, the messages are clear when I get them, right? Because it's something that's very, like, everybody that already knows that that's the day my brother passed away, right? That's the day that, he took his life. So I'll never forget that number. So they made it very, like, blunt for me, right? And from then on, well, like, that's what the book came about, right? In that way. Um So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that, right? Because I thought it was funny. I'm obviously gonna put this painting right behind me, so it's gonna make it on my wall, right? It's a beautiful painting. Thank you to my friend that made this for me, right? If they decide to start selling their paintings, I'll definitely put a link to their contact information where you could get it whenever you may see this. Um, I was also gifted this one in Christmas. It's a beautiful. I really don't know what it's. I forgot how they called it, but they named it Star Cloud, right? It says Merry Christmas on there, right? But it's I don't know if it's called sand something, right? Not sand blasting. I think that's like for bigger things, right? But I'm gonna try to put that up probably on that side of my wall up there. But it's beautiful, like Star Cloud. I think that day too, I had done some kind of reading and the Milky Way came out, and that's why it was funny that like this thing that looks like a Milky Way, right? But I think while that'll fill up my wall with the little gaps that I have right there, right? But yeah. So I just wanted to share that about the 216 because I thought it was crazy. I did an interview the other day. I mentioned it. Um, you know, to me, I really don't know, like when I got all those messages, like I don't even know if I was supposed to tell people, right? But I feel like I was, right? Like, so I just went with it. Um, it's, I mean, it's similar to the NDE just being able to show proof, right? Like a lot of times it's like people that have NDEs do have proof in the way that they're like, I had an out of body experience. And they were able to tell someone like, oh, I heard you saying this. And they're like, how is that even possible? How were you able to hear me or stuff like that, right? And, I know I had experienced that when I was younger. I remember once having an out of body experience and I seen these spirits and everything. But then my family was all the way like, like I was in a room that there's no way I could have heard what they were saying, right? And I was able to repeat to them like, "Hey, were you guys talking about this?" Like when I woke up or something, and that I was probably like, I don't know, 18 or something, 19 when that happened, right? So it's kind of that kind of thing, right? But anyways, um, this whole 216 thing, like I don't know, if it was just to show that we are in this kind of matrix. It definitely showed me that I pre-planned everything, I guess, in a way, right? Um, it's really strange this whole life thing. Like a vision I was given not too long ago was like, I don't know if it was like during the new moon or something like that, right? Because that's sometimes like just I don't know. I just start getting what the modern cool folks call downloads nowadays, right? And it's like I was seeing these whole cities being built with these structures that clearly would have taken hundreds of years or decades. I don't know, right? But at least decades. And I just saw them almost like that, like I don't know. There was this old game called Populous. I think that you would build like cities or stuff like that. So it was like I was seeing the construction of these things from like that, like an eagle's eye view, basically, right? And it was like, but it was like outside of here, time didn't move like that, right? It was like in the blink of an eye. But here, it would have taken like, you know, like that, like decades, centuries. So it was interesting that vision that I had. And on that note, I wanted to actually just say this last thing and then I'll go. I just wanted to share that, right? Like, because to me, it was like, it's crazy because I show people and it's like nothing to them, but to me, it's like the most because it's like there would be a better chance of winning the lottery than all these synchronicities. Like, they're like synchronicities times 1,000, right? It's like, okay, what are the chances? And out of all things, right, everything just keeps happening like that, right? Like, boom, boom, boom. Like I'm telling you, even after all of that came out, like it even came out how, the group that inspired me to make music was tied to the 216. The first song that I really released as a solo artist was 216. All these things, just boom, boom, boom. All, places I went when I was young, things tied into memories I have from past lives or stuff like that. So it's been around, different continents, different this, that, all over the place, right? All that stuff is in the book. If you guys feel like, you know, why not plug the book real quick, right? But So anyways, the last thing I wanted to mention was like on Spotify, you know, I guess I thought it was gonna take a while, but you know, I think because you had to have at least 100 listeners on there, and I think I just started uploading stuff to Spotify. I don't know if it was November or what, but I guess I already hit those 100 listeners on Spotify. And I think because I was being honest and putting you know, because on some, you know, some podcast episodes we have cussed, you know, said a few bad words here, even if it was just one or two. I put that there was explicit language when I uploaded those to Spotify, so I don't qualify for the whole, like, I guess the way, you know, with the ads and stuff to monetize or something, but there is a thing for listener support, so I qualified for that now for listener support. um so yeah, if anyone wants to do that, I mean, to me, I always say like the best way, obviously, to the number one way probably to support me, because I haven't been able to like monetize these. So it would be like watching these videos, right? And you know, so then I could be monetized on here on YouTube and everything. But even through my music, like the music, I own my music. So with music, just streaming music, sharing music, right? Doesn't have to, because obviously not all my music is gonna be for everybody, but I have over 200 and something things that I've released, from instrumentals to, you know, all kinds of music, right? I've done like hip hop, rock, hip hop in Spanish, reggae stuff, this and that. There's really no genre that I haven't done. So with music, it always like the revenue comes back to me, right? That's probably the thing that where I'll have the best revenue from support, right? So you know, there's the music, right? Obviously, but also, you know, now the Spotify thing, you know, there's a button for like listener support. I was able to qualify for that. There's also a subscription button, but I don't know what exactly. Like right now, I've been going, I guess, because I started focusing on work again. Um, you know, because we were on strike for a while, now we're not. So now I got back to work, and so, you know, I haven't been focusing too much on the spiritual lately. You know, aside from those kind of downloads I was getting last year at the end, I was getting a lot of like past life stuff, right? Um, what else? So yeah, about the subscription thing. If I make a subscription, I really don't know what, because obviously it will be something that I'm not even posting here. But if it keeps growing on Spotify and other stuff, obviously, right? Like if I can make it a subscription where I post content that, but you know, it's like when I get certain things, it's like I want to share them, right? I want to share these things. So I don't know what kind of content I would post, but I guess I'll just keep you updated if I start making subscription things on Spotify. But right now there is the listener support button over there, right? But like I said, you know, without having to donate money or anything, there's the other ways, right? Of just listening to the music, just watching the videos, right? To help me monetize these channels, right? Or stuff like that. Um, or this channel, right? Because my music doesn't, I don't need to monetize my music channel because all my music is already monetized anyways, right? So with that, I don't even need to I never had to get whatever thing on that channel, right? So um what else? What else? So the Spotify support, listener support. I'm gonna put a link to it too, just in case, you know. Um, but like I said, obviously music stuff is probably the best way to show support in that way, right? To where it builds revenue. And then, you know, because when I started the podcast, I definitely wanted to like be able to put in more time into it, right? Because I mean, it averages out probably like I do one interview a week since I started the podcast, right? Or one video, right? Because I know I have done quite a few on my own. So I've done that, right? But regardless, you know, I'm gonna keep posting videos every time there's something important. Um, I think that's it. I really don't have a whole lot to say. Aside from that, you know, I just thought it was a cool thing. I wanted to share it with everybody. Thank you all for your support. You know, up to now. If I hadn't said it before, thank you all. You know, 2024's looking like a pretty good year, you know, like I don't know. It's I think I purged a lot in 2023. I really let I really let things go that, you know, for lack of a better term, weren't serving my highest good. How's that? Because I don't like really saying like weren't serving me, right? But weren't aligned with my highest good, right? So I'm really, you know, looking forward to this year. I think it's gonna be a great year. Um, and so yeah, that's all I gotta say. Hope you guys are well. Peace.
Life may move fast, or it may move slow. I met a silly man who said he make it slow. We look up out towards space, or even at the sky. One day pass away, but never look inside. Breathe in, breathe out. Life is a maze, but we'll figure this out. I mean, human beings, I ain't got no doubt. Yo, we some crazy ass people, but we'll figure this out. Breathe in, breathe out. Life is a maze, but we'll figure this out. I mean, human beings, I ain't got no doubt. You we some crazy ass folks, but we'll figure this out. I saw a man on the midday train. He said he wasn't wealthy, but at least he was sane. Shoot, and he was happy as a jitterbug. Said he used to dancing with his wife at some old club. And I mean, the look on his face to me priceless. What the hell is wrong with society now, kid? I was like, kid, alright, but yeah, oh man, you right. I wanted half my life, and now here comes the plight. You see, I've often contemplated why I'm here, and should I do my best to educate my peers? But who the hell am I without no PhD, except from the streets with that Einstein, baby? I learned more than I'd ever really want to, and I know that we live one life, but it felt like 22. What is there to do? And that is when he interrupted. He looked at me, smiled, then said, you'll think of something. Yeah. Life may move fast, or it may move slow. I met a silly man who said he make it slow. We look up out towards space, or even at the sky. One day pass away, but never look inside. Breathe in, breathe out.